Hi, it's 2020 and it's been 4 years since we recorded the material in this first episode, and we just want to let you know that if you find this first episode too young for your kid, skip through to some of the more recent episodes.
I was 6 when we began recording materials for the early episodes, and I'm close to 11 now.
So as James has got older, our podcasts mature as you go through. You'll find what works for your family. Now, on with the show. Welcome to Dad and Me Love History. I'm Dad.
I'm James Letters.
Today we're tackling the biggest issue in world history. Who invented ice cream?
Dad and me love a whole lot of history. We could be the greatest team that the world has ever seen. Dad and me love a whole lot of history.
Now, if you're looking for the answer to who invented ice cream, it's a bit of a trick question. There isn't just one single person. The Bible mentions that King Solomon liked iced drinks, but it doesn't say much more than that. And apart from that brief mention, the first evidence we have of anything like ice cream being made goes back as far as 2,300 years ago. It wasn't made the same way as ice cream is made today. It was snow and ice with some added flavour. No, not that sort of added flavour, James. I know what you're thinking, how you might flavour snow if you were being very naughty.
No, I don't mean that. I mean mint. Chocolate.
Oh, mint and chocolate. Yeah, okay. That's what James was really thinking, mint and chocolate. He wasn't thinking we. Anyway, the person from that time who we know liked ice cream, or snow cream, was called Alex. He was just an ordinary chap. Except he was an emperor. Alex's empire stretched from Greece all the way to India, and he was known as Alexander the Great. Have you heard of Alexander the Great?
Yes.
He was emperor of Greece, except he wasn't Greek. He was from Macedonia. Anyway, Alexander the Great liked to mix honey and nectar with his snow and ice. You know, nectar from flowers that bees like. And so Alexander the Great invented the first slushie. So, why do you like ice cream so much?
Because it tastes really good.
And what's your favourite flavours?
Mint, chocolate, vanilla and chocolate.
All at once?
No.
And where in the world do you think you've had your best ice cream?
Italy.
Whoa, do you even remember one particular ice cream in Italy that was the super best?
Yes.
What was the super best?
Nutella.
During the Roman Empire, this is almost 2,000 years ago, Emperor Nero was a little bit mad.
Mad a lot.
There are lots of mad things about Emperor Nero, but here's just a few. He killed his mother, he killed his own wife, he killed himself, and his favourite flavour of ice cream was Brussels sprout flavour.
Mad a lot.
Okay, so one of those wasn't true. You can guess which. Emperor Nero used to send servants to run into the mountains for snow. Then that snow would be flavoured with different fruits, a bit like how Daddy flavours his iced gin with lime or lemon or orange. Except there's no evidence that Emperor Nero put gin in his ice cream. But then he's not as clever as Daddy, is he? But Nero did organise ice houses. His servants would get ice from nearby mountains, and then they'd take it down to Rome and they'd keep it in ice houses, which were deep pits covered with straw. This was before refrigerators were invented, before electricity, hundreds of years before that. So Nero's method of storing ice would be the way people would store ice for hundreds of years until they invented electricity and fridges. Now, Nero, of course, was in Rome, in Italy, and do you know what gelato means?
Yes.
Well, tell us.
Ice cream in Italian.
Yeah, something a bit like gelato was made in Italy by those Roman emperors. But I think if you tasted what Nero had as ice cream, it wouldn't be anything like proper gelato that you've had. But 1,000 years after the Roman emperors, another country brought their ideas on how to make ice cream to Italy.
We love love history. We love history, baby. We love history.
So 1,000 years after the Roman emperors, another country brought their ideas on how to make ice cream to Italy. Bet you can't guess which country helped the Italians out. It's one very close to where we are now.
China?
2,200 years ago, people in China created their own special dish of rice mixed with milk, which was then frozen by being packed in snow. One Chinese king, called King Tang of Shang,
Made up name.
He's thought to have had about 100 ice men who mixed flour and buffalo milk with ice. Why is that funny?
I don't know.
In these ancient times, what sort of people do you think ate ice cream? Rich or poor?
Rich.
Why do you think you had to be rich to eat ice cream?
Because poor didn't have any money and ice cream spended a lot of money.
Yeah, it would cost a lot of money, especially if you lived not right next to a supply of snow or ice. You had to pay people to get the snow or ice to where you were. That's why it was for rich people, mainly just emperors and kings for the first few hundred years and their families. Anyway, there was an explorer who made a long journey from Italy to visit China. His first name is Marco, and his surname rhymes with solo. Marco.
Oh no!
That's right. You remember playing Marco Polo, don't you, in the swimming pool in the summer? Marco Polo got the Chinese recipe for ice cream and brought it back to Italy. So then Italy, after Marco Polo brought back these ideas from China to Italy, Italy got on with making better and better ice cream over the years and centuries that would follow. And then from Italy, about 300 years after Marco Polo, Catherine de' Medici brought the dessert of ice cream from Italy to France. Catherine was a rich Italian lady who married the French King Henry II in 1533, and when she married him she moved from Italy to France, and she made sure she took an Italian ice cream expert with her. Then, in years that would follow, one or two Italian ice cream makers moved to England. So in the 1600s, that's the 17th century, King Charles I in England was said to have enjoyed cream ice so much that he paid his chef extra money to keep the recipe a secret from everyone else in England. Paid him an extra £500 a year to keep it secret because he just wanted ice cream for himself. He was a bit greedy, King Charles. Do you know what happened to him in the end?
Head cut off.
Yep, he had his head chopped off. That'll teach you to keep ice cream to yourself, King Charles. Although, to be honest, as historians we need evidence, and we don't know for sure if that last story is true, that he paid his chef extra money to keep it secret. We don't have evidence from the time that says that, we just have stories from people later who lived after Charles, and maybe they made up those stories. But we do know that Charles I enjoyed ice cream. This was almost 400 years ago, and it seems to be the first time ice cream made it to England. But ordinary people still weren't allowed to buy ice cream. The first cafe in the world that sold ice cream was opened in the year 1660, after Charles had his head chopped off, in a city, not in England, but in Europe. It's the capital city of France.
Paris.
Yeah, so this Parisian cafe that sold ice cream was run by a person from, guess which country?
England.
No.
Italy.
Italy, home of gelato. And he was called Procopio. His cafe was the first cafe in Paris, a city that of course is now the most famous in the world for cafes. His was the first one. It was called Cafe Procope, and his ice cream was sold there, and his ice cream recipe, it mixed milk and cream and butter and eggs. Very similar to what's in ice cream today, plus a bit of sugar. So we've been doing some extra research, and James has got some top ice cream facts.
Here are my top ice cream facts. The tallest ice cream cone was made in Italy and was over 9 feet tall. Brain freeze happens when ice cream touches the roof of your mouth. Some weird flavors of ice cream include beer flavor and parmesan, and also pepperoni flavor, pepperoni pizza flavor.
I've got a fact for you. Worldwide, around 15 billion litres, that's 3.3 billion gallons of ice cream are consumed every year, enough to fill 5,000 Olympic swimming pools. Then when it comes to America, we know that early American presidents like President George Washington loved ice cream. We know he bought thousands of dollars worth of ice cream. And then World War II, this is much later now, when Nana and Grandpa were born, World War II helped make ice cream popular with Americans and beyond. The US Armed Forces provided ice cream as a regular treat for their troops. It helped keep morale high, which means it kept them happy. Just like it keeps you happy, James, if you get your ice cream. In fact, ice cream became such a symbol of America during World War II that the United States Army became the biggest maker of ice cream in the world. Yeah, no one made more ice cream than the US Army. Italy's leader, Mussolini, who was fighting against America at the time, he banned ice cream because it was too American. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Ice cream being banned, and in all places in Italy. Too crazy. James, I think you should tell the audience what we call ice cream in our house. What is it for you?
Human right.
It's James's human right to get some ice cream.
The world record for ice cream eaten is 1.75 gallons. That's about 47 scoops in 8 minutes.
See you next time for Dad and Me Love History. Say bye, James.
Bye.
Bye, James.
Bye. Dad and me love a whole lot of history. We could be the greatest team that the world has ever seen. Dad and me love a whole lot of history.
Find us on
Facebook
and Instagram
and Twitter. Please leave us a review on iTunes, but only if you like us, and tell your friends about us.
Yes, we'll only be able to continue making podcasts if we get listeners, so we need your reviews on iTunes and everywhere else, please.
Some weird flavours of ice cream included bear flavour ice cream.